Hello everyone, it's Leigh here from Leigh's Art Studio in Australia. I'm here for another week of the Margarete Miller Collage Challenge. Don't forget to check out the playlist, so you need to look for the hashtag 2022 CWP4 and you'll be able to see every video that's been put up using that hashtag. The first thing I need to do to make today's page is to create a background. So I'm going to put some gesso onto this page and then dry it off. I'm not worried about this being a smooth coat. It doesn't need to go all the way to the edges. I just want to provide some protection to the paper for when I start putting watercolour and other things on top of it. I'll probably also use the gesso for stenciling into the design. I have an idea in my head how I want to do this, and it's sort of botanically themed. So once this gesso goes on, I want to put like greens and blues and maybe some yellows, watercolour on there. I'm not going to worry about drying that. So what I'm going to do is I have these watercolours and I want to use them. They're just one of those little travel packs that you get from eBay. And I've got a good set of watercolours now, but I would like to get rid of these. I don't want to have to throw them away. So I'm just going to simply spray some water over this particular sheet of them. It's greens and blues. See what happens. I think I'll do the same with this one as well. I have a few colours splattered on there now. I want to take a sponge and just smush it around a bit. I'm not worried about the colours blending together, except the purple and the yellow. I don't want that to happen. So I'll go all around the yellow as much as I can, and then I'll go back in and tap that in, because if the purple and the yellow mix together it will go a horrible browny colour. It's mixing a little bit with the gesso as well. I'm going to use a piece of paper towel to blot off the excess moisture there, rather than have to dry it. So the next thing I want to do is, because it's a bit, excuse me, a botanical theme, I want to put in some of this stencil that I made myself. So I drew the fern onto a piece of acetate and then cut it out with a craft knife. So I'm going to use the same sponge and just run it over the greens to get some colour on the sponge, and then just tap it in. I'm not trying to get it to completely fill each one of those bits of the pattern. I don't care if there's gaps. In fact, I quite like the gaps, but I just want the indication of that pattern on there. So I'm just going to hang on to that and lift it up and see what it looks like. Yeah, so it's quite nice. and might do another one over on an angle. Should be enough left in the sponge to do what I want to do. There's not much moisture in the sponge. I don't want the paper to get too wet. And apart from that, it goes underneath the stencil if it's too wet. So there's that side there as well. And I've got this little stencil. Been around the traps a while by the look of that. I'd like to use some gesso with that. How's everybody doing? Hope you're all well and happy and coping with whatever weather you got to deal with. It was really hot here a couple of days ago, and today it's a lot cooler. It's about 24 degrees Celsius here, but it is very, very windy. I think there might be maybe a cyclone somewhere. My husband did mention something about it, but I wasn't really listening when he was telling me. No doubt I'll hear about it on the news tonight. But it is our cyclone season. We get really violent storms here in Queensland during summer. So that gesso, because I haven't dried anything, I'm getting a bit of colour transference between the layers of paint and the gesso. So I quite like that, that's nice. You can see over here, that's really apparent. Now I don't want to overdo it with these little circles, but I do feel like I need to put some up in that corner. It's been really fun watching all the other guys' videos and checking out their Instagram pages and learning about new channels I didn't know existed. So that's been awesome. Thank you to anyone who has subscribed to my channel too. That's amazing. Since I started the Margarete Miller Challenge, I've gained about 70 subscribers, I think. So, and that's part and parcel to Julie from Art and Junk Journals with Julie, giving me a shout out on her channel. Alrighty, a couple in the middle there, I think. Yeah, so it's been an overwhelming response to my video. This is the sort of challenge that I wouldn't have thought of doing because I don't do planners and that sort of thing. I mean, I love them and I love journals, but I don't use them. I've got about a dozen diaries that I have bought, and some of them don't have a single word written in them. That's the way I am. All full of good intentions, and then it all falls apart. So I have this little heart stencil, and it's got some nice shapes. I don't particularly love the heart shape, but I'm going to put a couple of them on there and do the same thing. I'm going to use the sponge this time and the gesso. I love the way the gesso looks because it's nice and transparent, so it's almost a bit like a ghost print when you when you stencil it on. If you see what I mean. And because there's a bit of colour in the brush, that's come through as a nice pale mauvey sort of colour. I had to go and buy a new jar of gesso today. When I went to use it yesterday, somebody had left the lid off it. Don't know who that could have been, but I do that. I leave the lids off my paint as well, accidentally, of course. I don't mean to. That's looking beautiful. I love that already. I hope all the details are showing up in the camera. on screen. And just a little bit up here. I've used it a little bit thicker in that particular part. It's got those nice little dots. I think that'll do for that. Maybe some splatters. Might as well just use these watercolours that I have beside me, because there's some nice colours there. This was a really good set for the price. I thought it was good because it didn't take up any room, and I took it with me the last time I went on holidays, which was some time ago. Haven't had one of them for a while. A lot of this is going to be covered over, of course, but that's okay. It all builds up to make a nice background. I keep to the same group of colours, then everything is harmonious. So if I was to start putting something red or like a warm colour in there, it's going to be unbalanced. But purple would work well, because there's already purple in there, and purple and green are opposite each other on the colour wheel, so that makes them complementary colours. And then I'll start putting the collage pieces on. Okay, I've got all my bits and pieces gathered up for the prompts. So something fancy was the first one. So I've got a couple of things here that I might use. I'm not sure which ones. So a silver doily and a doily stamp. Then I've got a piece of sequined fabric. And this is a piece of embossed wrapping tissue. That's really pretty. Then something that starts with H, honeysuckle, the word hope, a herb that is called henbane. I've got a heart, and that's another part of the honeysuckle, so I'm not sure how I'll use them yet. Part of a recipe, and then when I bought some mushrooms a few weeks ago, there was a recipe on the bag. That's another possibility as well. Plus got some brown paper there. So I'm going to need a tree with fruit or blossom. So I've got a few different things here. I actually had started ripping all this apart. I have a gardening book, and it's got some beautiful, like it's an old book, so it's one that I use for this purpose. So I have some bits of a lemon tree, but that's quite large, so I'm not sure how that will fit on. That is peach blossom. That's peach blossom as well. And then this one, which is a nice yellowy lemon colour, really pale. So something torn, well basically everything I'm going to use has been torn. The bonus is something used in an office, so I have a to-do pad. I quite like the pattern here where it's got the little dots. I don't know yet, so I'm going to just work it out as I go. So this will be dry enough to do something on now. Seems a shame to cover it up, almost. I'm sort of thinking I'm not that sure about those pinks. I've cut that out of a box off something, I'm not sure what it was. And then I've just painted the other side of it. These flowers are quite pretty, blossoms. But I don't know if I want all of them on there. Did you know if you're tearing paper like this, if you don't want to have the white bits show, if you tear away from yourself, that'll get rid of them. If you tear towards yourself, you get the white. I'll show you what I mean. If I tear it towards me, you've got all that white bit there. But if I tear it away, the white bit is actually on the other piece of paper. On the other side, I should say. Something very satisfying about tearing paper, isn't there? Hope not too much of that wind sound is coming through on the microphone. Let's pop that aside. Don't know about that. Might just take a piece out of it. I like that paler pink. It doesn't have to make any sense, so whatever I do is going to be alright. Take those darker bits out. I might leave that, use it for something else. Definitely want a little bit of this. I can't tear next, oh maybe I can. I was going to say it's a bit of a tight squeeze to tear along there. Okay, so I think I should just start sticking stuff down. Stuff I don't really like, I'll sort of put in the background. I'll put that on upside down. I like upside down, inside out and back to front. I love these ones, so I want them. Oh, here it is, folded up right under my big nose. Okay, so I've been looking everywhere for this and it was right in front of me, but it was folded in half, so I didn't realise it was there. So I want my design to flow around, so I'm just going to move that for a minute. But before I do, I'm going to take a photo of it so I know where everything is. So we've got this bit here. I don't know if the gold's showing up or not, but it's really pretty. Perhaps that piece would look better in the corner. Okay, so I'm just going to rip this off and glue that down there so I can't change my mind about it. I've made a decision and I'm going to use a page out of this butterflies and other insects book. Which side? I think that one, because it's hanging down. I have it coming from that corner, that looks nice like that. So I'm just going to trim off some of the white. These pages that I'm making, even though they're not planner pages and they're not a personal journal per se, they could be used for journaling, and all you need to do is actually glue a piece of paper on them, a writing space. It can be secretive, you know, have it under a flap or something. Oops. So I'll just get a bit of glue on there. Just get these tacked together and then I can put more glue on it. So I'm just going to go around and find where it's not stuck down now and pop a little bit of glue in there. Sometimes it's easier just to use the glue stick up on its side, like on the edge of it, rather than flat down. So I'm happy with that. I do want to put something else on there too. I've got some little bits from the napkins I was using the other day, plus a butterfly. Well, that looks nice. Butterflies and birds. The bird, not bright enough for me, I don't think, but it might look alright in there. Another thing with putting that bird in there is it's going to cover over the collage, and I don't want that to happen. So here's a thought. Put the lid on the glue, for one thing. So I think that, although we've got that butterfly there, decisions. I think I need a smaller butterfly. Okay, so I've found a couple of stencils that I want to use. So I've got a really nice butterfly stencil, and so I'm going to put some gesso butterflies on there. But I also found this leaf stencil, so I'm thinking a leaf is going to look nice in gesso on top of that. This is just a really cheap stencil I got from Kmart. I'm pretty sure it was only about $2 or $3, and it had 3 or 4 pages of stencils, different designs, but it is only made out of like craft paper. Like, it's probably about 250 GSM or something like that, but it's definitely not waterproof, although it's surprisingly sturdy, and I think that's because the paint has built up on it. How does that look? It's a bit ghostly. Not that great, is it? How about we put another one on? Maybe the brush had a bit too much water in it or something. I'm just going to put another one somewhere. I've got one going that way. So over in this corner I'll go. Yep. And then going to do that again this way, so they cross over a little bit. Only needs to be a hint, just more for texture than anything. Oops, that was a bit heavy-handed with the gesso, although it looks nice. Actually looks quite nice. Do it again over here. I'll make the same mistake twice. Okay, so that's looking alright. And where's the butterfly? I know there's butterflies all over this, but I really would like to put that big one in there. Just faintly. And once I've finished, I have to put some splatters on there. Wouldn't be complete without splatters. Yeah, you can't really tell it's a butterfly, but there's a bit of nice patterning in there. There is another small butterfly, that one, but there's also this one. Could probably do it that way. I did want something over here on top of that. I'm going to use this leaf border. Oops. This is because it's got that long split right down the middle. This one gets away from you a little bit if you don't hang on tight. Oops, like that. I've gone underneath it instead of over it. I'm thinking that's enough on there, apart from the splatters that I want to put on it. So maybe that look alright down there now. It sort of does, but it's sort of too big, isn't it? It's just, if it was a third of the size smaller. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to put some stamp on there, a bit of stamping. I'm not sure which stamp, a green stamp pad. And I've got this one, it's thank you. So that was something else. It's like an invoice sort of thing, little mini invoice. I thought that might go well with something, that's used in an office theme. Let's put one there. Yeah, I didn't really think it would stand out too much. I didn't really want it to, actually. So that way. And the other stamp that I bought out is just these numbers. It's like what you'd use if you were making a calendar. Just put that there. Just gonna go around it again with this little fine black pen. I'm only lightly holding the pen and just letting it skip over the surface. Maybe I need to outline a couple of things. I don't know. Gotta be careful, I don't want to make a mess. Don't want to do that. There. Perhaps just some doodles. I'll put a karoo down here. Just going to outline that butterfly. Good on you. And in the gesso. Just very lightly and abstractly. And do the same with these flowers. Just scribbling, really. I'm not worried about trying to follow the line or anything like that. While we're at it, might as well do a couple of these leaves. So there's no right or wrong way of doing this. There's no mistakes. It's all just your own stuff. But I do tend to get a bit carried away once I start. We need to stop. Take the pen away from her. Just an outline just makes things look better. Okay, splatter time. Yeah, I was going to find my watercolor. Metallic watercolors. Where did I put them? I'll just put you on hold for a second. Okay, so I found them right where I put them, and I remember where I put them when I found them. I emptied out a couple of the drawers that were in this room specifically to put this sort of thing in instead of running around looking for it. And that would have worked well, except I didn't remember that I'd done it. I'm going to paint over that orangey pink flower with a little bit of this purple because I can, just so there's a bit of shimmer there. What else can I put on there? Really doesn't need much else. Perhaps some black splatter. and I think a few gold dots. But I use this darker gold, this bronzy colour gold to do that. Bigger ones. Then I splattered with the brush, strategically placed as well. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to call that done. Just bring it up to the camera, hopefully it'll stay in focus. So I've got that pink flower hanging down with the leaves and the butterfly. The gesso stenciling, the little collage there. It's my fancy paper going up and over. And you probably can't see the shimmer. You can a little bit. Well, I can see it in the monitor, so I don't know whether that's showing on screen. But these two flowers, because I put the pink on top of it. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed watching me do this, and that'll inspire you to think a little bit differently when you're going to do your journal pages and planner pages. And feel free to use my page as your inspiration, that's fine with me. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, leave a nice comment, and or a bad comment if you feel inclined to. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and check out all the other videos. They're up in a playlist, and this one will be hashtag 2022 CWP4. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.